Hello and thank you for watching. I'm Jennifer Bowman with Olympia Piano, and this video is part of my Piano Quick Tips series. In this video, I'm going to offer you some guidance on how to play the quick notes in this piece. There's two types of fast notes in this piece. There are the grace notes, which are the notes like you see in measure 4. They're actually written out, so E, F, E. And then there are the trill type of notes, which are indicated by the symbol above. So the first thing I want to mention is there are lots of different opinions on how to play these fast notes. There are thousands of interpretations of this piece. So I would suggest that you listen to a lot of your favorite pianists and see how they do it. I'm going to offer you a couple of options here in this video, and then choose what you like the best and what works best for your hand. I'd like to encourage you all to try all of these quick notes with a nice compact hand position. You see my bridge here and my first knuckle are firm, and then you'll play these on the tip portion of your finger. The other thing I'd like to mention is that these ornaments are more easily played on a grand piano, and that has a lot to do with the interior of the grand piano and how gravity has a function. So don't worry if you have an upright or a digital, just keep that in mind as you practice. The way I'm going to approach this video is just go through in chronological order. So we're going to start with measure 4. And by the way, because I wanted to focus mostly on the right hand in this video, you might not see my left hand in the picture. So measure 4 has grace notes, that little E and that little F before the note. Those are called grace notes. And there are two common ways of playing these grace notes. The first way of playing these grace notes is with the left hand. So that would be the E, the first little tiny E going with the left hand. It would sound like this. And then the other way is before the beat. So we'd start this little E and little F would go by themselves, and then the third note would be with the left hand. So I'm going to give you 4 different fingerings and demonstrate those with both possibilities for the timing. And so I'd like to give you the fingerings approaching from the A in the previous measure. So fingering number 1 is going to be 5, 4, 3, and then the grace note is going to be 2, 4, 3, and then 2, 3. So now let's do that in context. I'll start at the beginning of measure 3, and the first way will be on the beat, and the second way will be before the beat. So we've got before the beat, both very beautiful. So here are 3 other fingering options. So the next fingering option, starting again on that A, instead of playing this E with 2, we'll play it with 1, and the rest of the fingering will be the same. So it'll be 5, 4, 3, 1, 4, 3, 2, 3. Here we go. Before the beat. Then you could also do 5, 4, 3, then 1, 3, 1, 2, 3. My hand particularly likes that 1, 3, 1 because my hand is most comfortable in trills with 1 and 3, but you have to find out what works best for your hand. Here it is on the beat. And before the beat. So the fourth option would be almost the same as this one, except that the final note is just going to be E on the thumb. So you're not going to switch to 3 there. So that would look like this. Or before the beat. So now if we move on to measure 12, we have the exact same thing. Measures 11 and 12 are the same as measures 3 and 4. So I've given you 4 fingering options. Those are not the only options. So experiment and see what works for your hand. Here on measure 18, we have another grace note, B, C, B. So option number 1, again, I'm going to start on the A in the prior measure, is going to be 1, 2, 3, 2, 4, 3. So that in context, starting on measure 17. And here it is before the beat. Option 2 almost the same as option 1, but instead of putting 2, here we're going to put 1, and then 1, 4, 3. So on the beat would sound like this. And before the beat. And then option 3, what we're going to do is instead of using 1, 2, 3, starting on that A, we're going to do 1, 3, 4, so we can land on 3. 1, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3. So on the beat. Before the beat. And then option 4, similar to option 3, 1, 3, 4. Then instead of landing on 3, we're going to land on 1. 1, 4, 3. So on the beat. Before the beat. And then for our next grace note group, so in measures 19, 20, 22, and 23, I'm going to offer you 3 choices for these. They'll all be the same choice. And try and see if other things work for you as well. Choice number 1, measure 19, is going to be 2, 4, 3. 2, 4, 3. So here it is on the beat. Here it is before. Choice number 2, 1, 4, 3. On the beat. And before the beat. And then finally, choice number 3 is 3, 4, 3. On the beat. Before the beat. And then we're going to have the same choices for the next. So we've got 2, 4, 3. Or before. We have 1, 4, 3 on. Or before. We have 3, 4, 3 on. Or before. Then I'm just going to play measure 21. I have a separate video on just this measure if you want some tips on how to play that more smoothly. And then we have the same 3 fingering choices again in measure 22 and 23 that we just had. Skipping ahead, measure 28 is the same as measure 4. So I'd like to now skip ahead to measure 34. Measure 34, you see that trill symbol, and this can be interpreted 2 ways. Either starting on D and playing 4 notes, or starting on C sharp and playing 3 notes, kind of just like the grace notes. So I'll show you first a 4-note trill and then a 3-note trill. So 4-note trill, starting with 5, we have this option for fingering, 5, 4, 3, 3, 2, 4, 3. Or if we just choose to do a 3-note trill, it will just be 5, 4, 3, 2, 4, 3. So I'm going to play both of them in context now. Or 3-note. You can also do this fingering 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 3, 2. So in context, it would sound like this. Or just a 3-note. So either way sounds beautiful. Look and see what you like. One thing I want to mention is that these finger switches are really quite difficult. And so you want to really think about having one down gesture, not thinking down, 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 but rather down for 3 notes, especially for the 2, 4, 3. So measure 35, I'm going to offer you 2 options. You could either have 2, 4, 3, so on or before, or Or another option is 1-3-1, on or before. And then option 36 will have the first two options, but then because of where you're ending on measure 35, we're ending on 3 or 4 here, you could start also measure 36 with 3-4-3, whereas it wasn't really possible coming from here to reach over and play 3. Because of our position in 36, you can also start with 3, and that would look like this on the beat, or before. And then measure 38, you'll have the same options as you did. Or, and then again, two options, 1-3-1. Measure 44, same as measure 4. And then finally, we're to measure 51. So measure 51, there are lots of interpretations for this trill symbol here. Some artists choose to do just a 3-note. Some artists choose to do 4 notes or more. Some artists choose to start on F and do 4 notes. Some artists choose to start on F and play lots of notes. So if you take a look at Chopin's manuscript for this piece, it could be interpreted many different ways. At any rate, I'd like to offer you a couple of different fingerings for this. I'm going to offer you 3 different ones. Let's say we're interpreting it as a 3-note gesture. So we could do 2-4-3-2. Kind of like a little triplet. Or we could do that little triplet kind of thing. Instead of starting on 2, we could start on 1. 1-4-3-2-1. Or option 3 would be to do a triplet starting on 1 and 1-3-1. So I would say those are 3 possible options for the triplet gesture. If you were going to do a trill, I would suggest 3-1 for the trill, because that's a very strong trill fingering. So 4 notes. And if you wanted to do more, then you could just add more. And then finally, we've got the trill at the end. And in Chopin's manuscript, it is noted with a trill with the letter TR and then the squiggly line. At any rate, some artists choose to start it on the E and go back and forth, and some artists choose to start it with the F. So I'm going to offer you a couple of different options there. If you're going to do an extended trill, my strongest recommendation would be to do it with fingers 1 and 3. So it would sound like this. You do 4-3-2-1-2-3-1-3. Now, if you were going to start on the F, you just repeat that F. So it would look like this. 4-3-2-1-3-4-3. So if you were going to just do a shorter trill, like a 5-note trill, you could use fingers 3 and 4. I don't highly recommend it, but it's not that many notes. 4 is kind of a weaker finger, but it can be done. So you could go 4-3-2. Now, if you wanted to do a 6-note and start on the F, it would look like this. So I'd like to thank you for watching this short video on the quick notes in Chopin's Waltz in A minor. I hope that you were able to get some guidance and some ideas for how to execute those short notes. To recap, you want to have a nice firm hand position. You're going to have to switch quickly between these fingers, and there are many ways to interpret these fast notes. So again, listen to your favorite pianists and make an educated decision as to what works best for you. So I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video, and I hope you will subscribe to my channel for more videos like this, quick piano tips. I also have videos on piano technique, piano literature. Thanks again for watching.